Craig Gleason is a funny motherfucker. He is also a ridiculously talented one. His art Instagram page now I think has like 102,000 follows, something like that. He is the longtime boyfriend of Bridget Lang, who was on the show not too long ago. And he is probably one of the funniest guests that I've ever had the honor of having over to the show. We talk about some crazy stuff, nonetheless, being him as a teenager playing in a band with his dad and his brother, and how they used to do these crazy, shocking shows where he'd get naked with his family and play. And he was in other bands where they would just do crazy, awkward kind of cringe core kind of stuff and make everyone uncomfortable on purpose. Really artsy, funny, hilarious stuff. This guy is completely just wackadoodle in the absolutely most wonderful way. If you are on this episode because he brought you here, you know exactly what's up with Craig, and we talk about Craig's new look and his YouTube channel and all kinds of crazy stuff, man. But his art as well. If you're into weird sci-fi horror kind of interesting stuff, man, I would definitely check it out as soon as humanly possible. So here we go, man. Craig Gleason, prepare to laugh your fucking asses off. That's cool with you?
Yeah, sure. Sounds good to me.
All right, man. Well, we're rolling. Welcome. Thank you for coming over.
Oh yeah, no problem.
I was really worried. I meant to like check in on with you and make sure this was gonna happen, but I like totally spaced. And then I was like, oh, I got a podcast, and I like went and I was like, oh shit, his email's still sitting in my Instagram box. I haven't even emailed him yet.
Yeah, no, I thought it was way later in the month, but
yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, it's all right. Bridget was like, "Oh, you're supposed to do an interview tonight." I'm like, "No, it's not. It's only the second."
It's cool, man. I like your guys' like studio setup that you have.
Oh, thanks. We're rearranging it right now.
You are?
Yeah, for no reason.
That's fine. I do the same shit, right?
We don't want to draw, so.
Yeah, whenever. I mean, well, I get it though. You're a creative person, so even when you're not creating necessarily like art, you still have to rearrange stuff and.
Sure.
Stuff
I mean, for MySpace, it's MySpace. I hate saying that. That's a ruined term, but my art area.
You do a lot of Jeffree Star in there.
my art area, it's not so much rearranging it. It's picking up all the clothes and like just shit I have everywhere, all my dried up markers. Mm-hmm. You know. Well, rearranging.
That leads me to a really good question. What is your preferred kind of tools when it comes to making the art that you do?
Paper and pens and marker.
Nice. That's it. That's awesome.
I use microns and I use Prismacolors. I use brush tips. And I've tried chiseled ones, and they cost the same amount, and they're not very good.
Got it. So just analog?
Oh, yeah. No, I try to stay off the computer.
Does Bridget do digital stuff? A little bit, right here and there.
No? She's terrible with computers.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Some of her stuff I could have sworn was like...
Well, when she does like shirt designs or something like that, we scan it in and then color it in like that, because if you do that by hand, it's really tough to screen print.
Got it.
You know.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, that's awesome. So can you tell me, I've seen it all over your social media pages, but I don't know what the Bad Guys Club is.
I don't either. I just needed a name for the stuff I was drawing so I could make basically it was 2015. I had drawn a few different characters, and I thought it would be cool to, kind of like franchise the thing, because I didn't want it to just be, it's Craig Gleason stuff. I feel like Bad Guys Club is a little bit catchier.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a working title of like, okay, I'll name it something else later because that's super generic. And then, this many years later and I can't change it now.
Yeah, it's funny. It's. I mean, I don't know how everybody else feels, but with me, it was always kind of like that's the subtitle. Like Craig Gleason is like that's the main title that everyone.
Sure,
knows.
I don't know. It's tough to. I don't think about it that way.
I love your Gremlins tattoo, dude.
Oh, thanks.
Is that Gremlins 2?
Yes and no. I mean, it would be kind of from Gremlins 1. I drew a gremlin because they're tough to find a good image of to bring to a tattoo artist because they're so dark.
Yeah.
But a lot of people ask me, this is going to be great radio. Yeah. A lot of people ask me if it's a sea turtle because it looks like a sea turtle,
funny.
Flipper, and it's.
That's great.
Oh, I hate it.
I was one of the weird people where like I haven't seen it in a long time. But when I was a kid, I was really partial to Gremlins 2.
Yeah.
Did you see that one?
Oh yeah, of course.
I love the second one.
As a kid, I liked it because there's all the different types of characters. But rewatching it, it's like futuristic and
Yeah.
like it's weird.
I haven't watched it in a long time. I just remember like the paper shredder. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
think he like put like someone's tie in a paper shredder or something
Oh,
like that.
I'm sure
and,
that happened in there. I know that something like that happened in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, it was real. It was a real zany
Yeah.
little Gremlins movie.
There's cool looking characters, but I feel like Gremlins 1, like there's a
Yeah.
difference in quality for sure.
Totally, yeah. It was kind of like Short Circuit was the same way. Although I like the second Short Circuit a lot with Johnny Five's.
Oh yeah.
So now does a lot of your art stem from like a love for horror movies and sci-fi movies and stuff? Because I definitely see the influence. Sci-fi for sure.
Yes and no. I mean, I think that stuff's cool. You know, it's just one of those things that's kind of ingrained in me, I suppose. You know, I don't really be like, oh, I got to draw like a Frankenstein-y character.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, I love Mars Attacks, so it's got to be in there. It's just kind of, you know, I don't know, the visuals I like.
Yeah,
You
that
know.
makes sense.
Stuff I can draw from.
Yeah. What are some of the things that really turned you on to making art? Like was that a Devo tattoo? No.
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
Dude, that's fucking sick. Holy
Yeah.
shit. That's like a deep cut Devo picture too.
Oh,
That's
Yeah, I got it, and then Devo started doing a bunch of stuff I don't like, and it's like, oh, good God.
Oh, well, I mean,
Like, they just did their reunion show after another member died, and they got Fred Armisen on the drums. I'm not a Fred Armisen fan, and I was like, holy shit, like, it's time to cut my arm off. And then I found out that John Kay, the guy who did, which arm is it? Ren and Stimpy, he like was dating like 13, 14-year-old girls during Ren and Stimpy. And then I find out that this Ooze It thing, that guy's like a pedophile child molester. It's like, fucking
damn, dude.
you know, this arm's got to go.
Oh, that's crazy. Luckily, the blacking out of the arms is super in right now.
Oh, I could never do that, man. Yeah.
That sounds terrible.
I hate it. I hate it.
So, what were some things that? Yeah, back to the actual question. What are some things that really like got you interested in wanting to make your own art when you were growing up?
I don't know. I mean, it's boring being a kid, you know? Like, if you don't have a bunch of friends and there's not something to constantly do and you've played with all your toys.
And your brother.
You know? Yeah. Well, then you and your brother grab a piece of paper and start drawing and try to outdo each other.
Oh.
You know, we would do, like, comic books and come up with characters together. Or he would do a comic and I'd get jealous, so I'd copy him, you know? And basically, yeah, we started to draw our own characters. He had this character called Icus Canias.
Okay.
And it was this like big epic space story about this like jetpack dog was one of the characters, and there was like space boars. It was really cool. So I couldn't think of that type of stuff. So I was like, I'm gonna do Cigar Pee-Pee, and it's gonna be this superhero character. Basically, his backstory is there was a cowboy, okay, and he was smoking a cigar, and it fell into the toilet while he was peeing. He peed on it, and out comes Cigar Pee-Pee. And yeah, he's like part pee, part cigar, and he has a sidekick named Cigarette. And then I feel like my brother Steven's stuff got to be a little too complicated for him to pull off. So we started making Cigar Pee-Pee together. And he came up with this great villain. I mean, he did all the writing on it, too. The writing was, like, atrocious, you know. And I'm sure if he rewrote it, it would still be pretty similar. But there was stuff, like, instead of saying, like, here we go, it was like, hi, R-Y, go. You know, a bunch of stuff like that. And on the back is an advertisement for the next one. The villain was King Ashtray.
Okay.
But he couldn't spell it. It was King Ashtray.
Oh, that's great. How old were you guys?
I had to have been about 5, and he was probably
my
like 7.5.
God.
And I still got Cigar Pee-Pee 1. It's on like that brown shitty paper.
No way.
Yeah, like that like craft paper that you get in the big like
Dude,
Crayola thing.
If you ever get in trouble with the IRS and you need to make up some money,
Yeah, put out Cigar Pee-Pee issue 1. Yeah, but then
Nicolas Cage will buy it from you.
from there it was kind of, you know, playing like Earthworm Jim and like making our mom draw the characters from the manual. You know, and we would try to draw it ourselves and we couldn't. But yeah, it's just always being into stuff like, you know, cool video games with cool villains and you know, what was the other thing that we would try to draw? Pokemon. That was a big thing. We were Pokemon kids, so we would come up with our own Pokemon because there was a contest where kids could draw their own Pokemon, come up with the powers and evolutions, and, you know, you'll get it turned into a character for us. And we drew a bunch of different Pokemon, and mine had, like, you know, 100 arms or something like that. We had all these great characters that I'm sure would have been turned into cards, absolutely, but we never mailed them in.
Oh, man.
But it was just stuff like that, you know, just kind of trying to outdo each other, I suppose.
That's awesome. Now, is that your guys' kind of a similar process when it comes to the epic video making that I've been seeing lately on the internet? That fucking what was that fireworks video that you got? The torpedo. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, well, basically, I mean, a way
If you guys haven't seen that, if you got it, that's so fucking fun. It's on both his Instagram and or links to it on his Instagram and
I don't even know what the name of the other thing is. It's too new.
yeah, it's great though. It's super fucking hilarious. Torpedo, super funny. So where did that come from?
Well, back in the day before I was like drawing seriously, I would draw all the time. I would like sketch and draw awkward naked guys because I thought that was gonna be my thing. You know, that's the area that the world needs. You know? So I got hundreds and hundreds. I got a filing cabinet that says awkward men naked, awkward men clothed. You know, just full of it. But basically, prior to me doing any of that stuff, I was doing YouTube videos all the time. I got 300 plus videos on YouTube somewhere.
Oh shit!
And yeah, I would always try to convince my brother to do it, and every now and then, fine, he'll do it. And then you know we'd come up with something that was so great. And I took a hiatus from that because I started doing this instead, you know, drawing and stuff. And he's recently started to want to do videos again. So it's more going to be under his umbrella, but I'm involved, you know. So it's a comeback, so maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, I can see the YouTube connection now because when you go through your feed, it's a lot of like ridiculous little 30-second like like the carrots video.
Carrots.
Like,
oh yeah.
like,
when I was gonna give up drawing and cook instead, that's my new art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, plus like, I'm gonna let her. Eventually, Alicia will come and let her out. But I think it's funny to have her on the podcast.
Do you have the red light on saying "Don't come in"?
No. But I mean, congratulations on Craig's new look.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
That was a real smash hit.
Yeah. The next day, I cut my hair. You know.
Really?
So I was gonna put out Craig's new look. You know,
man.
a shirt, because basically I wore the shirt, I took a picture of me modeling it, so then there was an even worse picture of my face. I was going to put it out, but it's like, I can't let this be like an ongoing thing. But that was one of my best-selling shirts. People jumped on it real quick.
I bet, dude. Holy shit. That was such a, like, just as soon as I saw it, I was like, that's genius. It was just brilliant.
I had to strike while the iron was hot. You know?
Yeah, that's what the people needed,
yeah,
I think, at that time.
Definitely.
Where'd you get those glasses?
Which glasses? Oh, I got them from Buffalo Exchange.
That makes sense.
I don't know. They're just green fuzzy glasses, and I thought I was going to wear them like all around. It's like, no, I'm not. Those are terrible. So
that's so funny. So at what point did you feel like you could actually make this like a living for yourself?
Probably about the time I got sick of doing everything else. Basically, I have worked a bunch of different dead-end jobs without any real reward. You know, nobody's said, "Hey, Craig, we're going to give you a promotion. We're going to acknowledge what you're actually doing."
What? Where were you working before?
I've worked everywhere. I worked at first job was the Nike warehouse in California. And we would work 75-hour weeks. I was just out of high school, so I didn't know what this was. I didn't know how much I was getting paid when I signed up for it. It was 12.5-hour days, 7 days a week. It was a nightmare.
Oh, my God.
So I did that, and that was a lot of fun. And there's a lot of Cambodian people and me and my friend Taylor working there. And it was just great. Nobody spoke our same language, but it was awesome. We loved it. And after that, I worked at Tilly's. It was like a skater, type of company, whatever. I worked there for forever because I was a kid again. I got to work like 8 hours a week. Yeah. And then I got sick of doing that, but I was still working there, and I just started kind of reducing my hours because the less you sell, the less hours you get. So it was a win-win. You don't have to talk to anybody, and I don't have to go into work. And then I was in a band with my brother, and he ended up breaking his feet, and our bass player decided he liked his girlfriend better than us, and our drummer went to prison, and it all fell apart after a long time of that. So
he broke
basically,
his feet?
He jumped off a roof naked and broke them.
As you do.
Yeah. It was his big finishing move. But basically, where was I going with that? Yeah, when he did that, I had some extra time on my hands, so I got the bright idea to start painting on dollar bills. And I painted Lady Gaga costumes on them. I'm not a fan of her at all, but I was like, okay, well, this will be funny. I don't know why. Yeah. But it ended up taking off on the internet. It was like my first viral thing. So I was like, oh, whoa, I'm making more money off of this than I am my job. So that was the first time I had like a light bulb of this could eventually be something. But then that kind of died out because people stopped caring about Lady Gaga. It didn't matter. And I was afraid that was going to be my legacy. And I was like, oh, that's that Gaga dollar guy that was on MTV.com for a day.
That's cool.
Yeah, but I outlived that, luckily. Yeah. And basically just through a bunch of different... I was a janitor for a while. I would drive around like on the Zamboni thing and like fall asleep while I was doing it at this mattress warehouse. Oh, it was terrible. But my last job I had was at IKEA. I did a week of training and I worked for 2 days. It was during back to school, and there's a lot of people from foreign countries that come here to go to ASU. So I was working in the home delivery section. And there would be like, a Japanese group that walks up. None of them speak English, and I need to set up their home delivery. what's your address? And they're just kind of looking at each other. I end up getting I look at their phone, I type in a text, and then they end up, giving me all that. I'm like, okay, well, what's the zip code? And then another hour goes by while the line's building up with, people from India, people from here and there.
My God.
None of them speak my language. It's like, I can't do this job. So I talked to Bridget and I was like, okay, I got this great plan. You work for like a year straight and you pay for everything. She's like, okay, I'm loving this plan so far. And then I'm like, I'll put full time into drawing because I was making a little bit of money off of it, but I didn't have enough time to consistently do it. So I was like, I'm going to spend the next year doing this. And if it doesn't take off in that time, I'll go back to working. But if it does take off during that time, you can quit your job and take as long as you need to, get established and not have to work ever again. So I convinced her to do that, and it luckily worked out. Like right about that year point, I got into my first group show, and it was kind of a big deal for me. It was at this place called Gallery 1988 in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Like I first saw it on the bonus features of a Breaking Bad DVD. All the actors at this place, it was a Breaking Bad themed thing. They do like different, movie and TV show themed shows. So I got onto one that was, what was the theme? I want to say like Bob's Burgers or something like that. So I went down there and I was excited about it, and I ended up talking to the owner. I was saying like, hey man, I really appreciate you letting me on this, and I kind of explained the story of I had this year mark, and one of the goals was to get into this specific venue. And I said that would like make my life, and sure enough, right at the year mark it happened, I got to thank you a lot. He was looking down at his phone. Oh yeah? Uh-huh. I was like, man, this guy sucks. And since then, I stopped doing that. But that was like the first big moment of like, okay, this is going to be a snowball effect. And since then, I've seen like interviews of that guy. And his big claim to fame is like, man, I used to know Kanye West. I used to know this celebrity and this celebrity. He's just really lame.
That sucks.
Jensen Karp. He's a real cool guy. Look up his book. Kanye West owes me $300.
That's so what year was that you decided that you and Bridget were gonna flip flop?
The middle of 2015.
15,
and then probably about a year later, it was to the point where I could start affording everything.
Got it.
Maybe a year and a half. I don't know.
And then I think I remember her telling me that you guys kind of went back and forth.
That is a lie.
That's a lie. I don't remember super well. So wait, now both of you guys are independent, right?
Yeah. We're both. I'm covering more of the stuff still. It takes a while to get on your feet with this stuff. I feel like I kind of hit, a current.
Yeah.
That took me off faster than anybody should have taken off.
I get it. You don't have to show me your checkbooks. I was just like, I'm just curious because I think it's super cool when when other people are like subsisting off of their work.
It's definitely cool because she's hitting the point now where like more and more bills are off of my back and on hers, which is always good. I got to come up with a new plan of, okay, you cover stuff for a year again, and I'll buy a house or something,
Oh, man, that's fucking hilarious. Oh, rest in peace to your house, by the way.
Oh, yeah, man. I didn't sell enough shirts. The city tore down my...
Was that why? Because you didn't sell enough shirts?
No, well, that's what I tried to say. Please buy 400 shirts or my house is getting torn down. When we signed up for that place, we already knew there was a 9-month lease. Ended up going into like a year and a half, and there was a lot of yo-yoing with our landlord. He was a real cool guy, but... he would like tell us a specific date. Okay, you got to be out by this time. And each time he would say that, it would get closer and closer. Okay, never mind. It's extended. And then it finally got to the point where we were like, we can't keep doing this, like getting established here and then like having to get kicked out. So we looked for a different place and we found a place out here in Tempe. So we were in Phoenix. We found a place in Tempe. And perfect landlord for us, a little expensive, but like it had everything we needed to work from home, big backyard for the dog and everything. And we were about to sign the lease, and I told our landlord, hey, we're going to be moving out. He said, oh, you might not want to do that. It's going to be extended for another like 8 months. You guys can be here for a long time. And it was like super cheap rent because of the like we were paying like $750 for a 1,500 square foot place
in Phoenix, right?
Oh yeah. And it was 10,000 square foot yard because there's a stipulation of, hey, you might get kicked out at any time. So we were gonna stay there. So we told this new landlord, hey, it's not gonna happen. And then I called him up the next day to say, hey, you know what? We told the new landlord that it's not gonna happen. We're gonna stay with you. He's like, well, about that, it is being torn down, and you got to get out.
Oh,
yeah. So then we ended up moving out here anyway. We got in touch with the landlord. I drove down 100 miles an hour and re-signed up.
That's rough. What is it now?
Too much.
No, what is the? No, sorry, not the rent. No, what's the? Where is the? What is where the house used to be? Is it still?
What is it? It's a dirt hole in the
it?
ground. Yeah, and there's like a fence around it. Basically, it's like foreign investors jumped on. I'm sure these young college guys plan to build a luxury apartment. That's what's going to be there.
Got it.
They tore down the whole historic neighborhood, willy nilly, and
it's because it's that gentrified area.
gentrification,
Phoenix, right?
man.
Yeah,
It's the greatest.
Isn't that near kind of like where Joe Bot is and stuff?
I don't know where Joe Bot is. The exact address was I can't even remember the address anymore. But it was like Osborne and 7th Avenue. Google it, everybody.
Okay,
Google Earth.
Got it. Yeah,
That's what it was. And if you look it up on Google Maps, like on the street view, my car is still in front of it.
Nice. Yeah. That's so now when it comes to like when you guys were you said you used to be in a band?
Yeah, a long time ago.
I didn't know about that.
Oh yeah, it was called the McDaniels.
Okay.
And then there's a different band that I was in with my brother called the Ovals. And basically, the McDaniels was a family band that started when we were in I was in junior high, and so I was probably like 13 at the time. And we didn't have anything to do at our dad's on the weekends. So you know what? Me, my brother, my sister, and my dad, we're starting a band. All of our last names is the Gleason. We're the Gleason. So realistically, we got to come up with a different name. The McDaniels is the greatest punk rock, coolest name, And there's a lot of stories to go along with it. It was like 8 years of a lot of shit. But basically, we ended up doing this big naked show on Halloween with our family members on stage, and Child Protective Services got involved, took our sister away, and basically, we didn't think there was any pictures from the show. We're like, damn it, we should have had somebody in the audience planted to do this. And one day there was a knock at the door, and my dad answers it. I wasn't there, but he opened the door and it was 2 FBI guys, and they're like, Doug Gleason, yeah, that's me. It's a terrible impression. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
And he's all, and that was a terrible impression too, but I'll stop doing that. So basically, they're like, they have all these pictures in their hands. Like, I need you to look at these, and they're flipping through, and it's a bunch of pictures from the show. Oh, that's awesome. And he's like, who's this? It's like, well, that's me. Who's that? That's my son. Who's that? And he's like, Mario. Because it was a Halloween show, and there's some guy dressed as Mario up there dancing with us while we're naked.
That's Mario.
Yeah, but we ended up disbanding the family portion of it, and we got a little more serious. And
hold on. So wait, how old were you guys when this was going on?
At that point?
Yeah.
I was 17. My brother was probably like 19 or 20, and my sister was like 13.
Oh, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
you guys were all naked playing a show?
My sister got off the stage prior to us doing that. She knew what song it was going to be.
Got it.
But yeah, we wrote "Clit for Sale" on her stomach, and it was a Halloween show, and we were all in whitey tighties and wife beaters, and it was an awesome show. My brother peed on the stage, and
oh my god,
I had shooken up a soda and sprayed it on my sister like I was ejaculating on her, like most family bands should. And everybody was like, oh, all grossed out. And I was like, okay, I'll clean it up. So I took my wife beater off. I soaked up this cherry Coke that I had just spilled all over everyone, that everyone was freaking out too. And I drained it over my mouth. I squeezed it into my mouth. Little did I know that was the exact same time my brother was peeing on the stage. So,
jeez, where was this?
That was in Hollywood at this place called the California Institute for Abnormal Art, CIA. And basically it was like a no-rules sort of place. You could do whatever you wanted. Since then, they have a lot of rules and they have security.
Oh my god, so you're not from the Valley?
No, I'm from Southern California, not LA. I'm from I grew up in Temple City. Not that you're not gonna know what that is. By Pasadena. I don't know. And then I moved to Orange County.
Got it. I like Orange.
Orange is cool, but it's also very boring.
I mean, I like hanging out there. I wouldn't live there. I like orange. Like it's like this.
Okay,
the city. I think it's cool.
I lived in Rancho Santa Margarita.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some pieces of Southern California that I like. I like West Covina is cool.
Sure.
And Orange is cool. And there's some kind of little nooks and crannies of the suburban. Wow, this is LA. This is crazy. This doesn't feel like I'm breathing in hobo piss and smog.
Well, you know what smells worse than LA is San Francisco.
I've never been to San Francisco.
Oh, you should go. It smells great.
Yeah, okay. So I used to be in a band, and we were gonna go up to San Francisco, but we had already traveled as a band, and we had been to California already 3 times, and we were like, okay, we could drive 13 hours to get to San Francisco. And then we would just be in oh, yay, it's another fraction of California. Or for the exact same amount of time, we could just go to Colorado. So we were like, well, that's what we did. So we went and we did a whole like week where we just played nothing but Colorado, and it was fucking rad.
That's a very strange idea.
Dude, it was cool. Colorado was amazing. We all came back and made a blood pact to live there. Like we were gonna move as a band and go.
And
to
it
Colorado.
finally happened. It came together.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I know. We really dodged a bullet because the more I learned about Colorado, the more I learned that there's like 5 venues in like a lot of the places we wanted to live.
But people would show up. That's the thing.
That's true, man. People would show up.
When you play at a place like LA, there's 1,000 other shows happening at the same time. Colorado.
I know. I always tell my friends in bands in LA, like, leave. Like, Phoenix it's just big enough to where you have a lot of options, but it's just small enough to where people actually give a shit.
Sure.
It's like, it's perfect. Like,
sure.
Like LA, you can have a million bands who've got millions and millions of followers on Instagram, Facebook, tons of plays, whatever, and they're in your own backyard, and you are another band who also has a bunch of plays and whatever, and you have no idea who this other person is.
Yeah.
That would never happen here.
Yeah.
Like, everyone helps each other.
It's too big, too much competition.
Way too much. So when did you move out here?
I don't know.
You don't know?
2011.
Okay.
I wanna
So you
say.
met Bridget pretty quick, right?
Yeah.
After moving out here?
Yeah, we're at some show that we didn't want to be at separately. And I walked up to her. I don't know if she told this story in the last one.
Okay. She did, but I want to hear your perspective of it.
Okay, well,
She told me the same thing. She said that you guys were both at a show that neither of you wanted to be at, and you were mutual friends or something.
Sure. She was there with her friends who were playing the show or something like that, or dragged her to the show, and she didn't want to be there. I was there to pick somebody up with a friend, and we were just out in the parking lot. I saw some girl with very chubby cheeks, and I was like, she is very cute.
Yeah.
So I walked over, and I was getting nervous. I was like, okay, I got to have something really clever, smart, witty, whatever, charming to say to her. So I walk over, and I'm like, yeah, hey, my name's Craig. I just wanted to tell you that I've been eating nothing but popsicles for the past month, and now my body has nothing to digest, and I'm having water shit. And I said, it's not like I'm having diarrhea. It's like water. Like, you could drink this. It's been filtered through my body. And then she kind of...
That was your opening line?
Yeah. My name's Craig, And she laughed, and I was like, okay, well, that's cool. That worked. And I was like, do you want to come over to my place after this? We just moved out here, and we got free AC because it was like a, place for illegal aliens to move. So me and my brother moved there, and you don't have to sign up for utilities. It's all covered. I said, and we have this wall that we just discovered is a false wall. Like, if you lean on it, the whole thing moves. So she was like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll check that out. Like, sweet, this is working.
Went for that. Oh, my God,
man, oldest
crazy.
trick in the book, man. And then everybody that was there with an earshot was like, oh, we want to go over there, too. And I'm like, okay, cool, we'll make it a group thing. And then there's some, I don't know if she wants me to tell this, but there's some guy pretending to be her boyfriend who, was like some like creepy stalker guy, and he was putting his arm, like trying to like sit next to her and stuff. And I was like, well, there goes my chance. So I didn't ask her out beyond that. She didn't move. She went to Germany, and there's a whole big nasty story to go along with that I won't get into. That's hers for if she ever comes back here and wants to talk about it. But yeah, pretty much the day she came back, I didn't know, but I wrote her on the internet. And I was like, hey, we should hang out. And then she's like, yeah, sure. And that's a terrible impression. When I talk too much, I get a little bit of laryngitis. So by the end of this, I'll sound like Winnie the Pooh. But yeah, we ended up hanging out, and we went bowling. And as she was coming over, I said, oh, and by the way, you get to drive because I don't have a car, which is also a great move.
Yeah.
And it was just magic, man. Like, everything I was spitting out there, just like, it worked, I was all nervous. She walked up to the door. My brother answered it. I'm standing all the way across the room. Hey.
Oh, man.
We went bowling, and I did some terrible moves, and like, your dog really wants out.
Okay, here, I'm gonna let her out. You keep telling the story.
I'll keep telling this story. And yeah, there's this guy named he was this like professional bowler, and I swear he like had like no knees and like no elbows, but he was the greatest bowler I had ever seen. Every ball he was throwing was getting a strike. I want to say his name was like Dunny. Yeah, his name was Dunny.
Dunny is such a good bowler name.
Yeah, Dunny, and we made up a wife for his name. I think it was like Jenny because we thought we heard that. So I was just copying every one of his moves, and sure enough, they didn't work for me. So, bowling was kind of our thing, and we started dating right before my birthday, which was right before her birthday, and I don't know if that means anything, but
yeah,
now it's very hard for gifts,
I was about to say, that sounds like a rough time,
Yeah.
especially when you've been living together for a while.
Yeah, we don't do gifts now. Now we try and go on a little vacation.
That's nice.
Yeah, we've gone to Disneyland every time, and now we're bored of it. It's terrible. So this year we're going to Disneyland.
That's awesome. That's such a hilarious... I could have never imagined Like, A, saying that to a girl, B, it working, and C, it being like Bridget. Like, I can't imagine. Like, I only hung out with her once. We talk over the internet and stuff here and there, like through comments. But still, I can't imagine her just being like, "Oh yeah, the water shits guy."
Yeah, I was sexier then, man. I was only eating popsicles. I was like 50 pounds lighter. You know, I had like dark circles and I was all sunken in. Like, hey, baby, you know, you want to see my shit? Like, it's water, man.
So what was your now what I really wanted to talk about was your family dynamic seems very interesting.
Oh,
like,
yeah?
Is that like basically what I'm asking you is why are you the way that you are? Is it the family band? Like what happened? Like what kind of environment like did you grow up in where like I guess it produced like this very eccentric, interesting artist, I guess.
It's nature versus nurture a little bit. Basically my mom, she'll be listening to this, so I'll be nice, and I'll be nice to my dad too. But basically, my mom, she was a very like artsy fartsy type of person in high school, you know. And she had a bunch of art of hers that she had hung up, and I thought it was very cool. And she was, I don't know, she's a goofball. She's like, you know, she would have me and my brother put on puppet shows. I don't know if it was for her or if it was for us, but, you know, we had the Stephen and Craig shows, so we would be constantly using our imagination. She was, like, very encouraging of that type of stuff. When my stepdad got a video camera, we would, you know, convince her, Mom, film us, we got to do videos. And she would,
naked.
Yeah, she would tell us to do different skits, and they were the worst skits in the world, but it's like, okay, yeah, sure, we'll do that. Like, she had us do a lot of stuff like, you know, don't mess with the do, you know, stuff like that. And we couldn't pronounce her R, so there's some really cute videos out there. You know, like Craig the Magician is one of them. I got that on YouTube. You should look it up.
Okay,
Craig the Magician. It's where I turned my brother into a dog. Okay, a dog stuffed animal.
With some like nice cutting techniques.
Oh, man, it's
camera.
awesome. Yeah, and there's stuff where there's earthquakes and we're upside down and stuff.
That's great.
So I guess, you know, from that, I got a lot of, you know, don't be afraid to embarrass yourself.
That's
you know?
awesome, man.
And then my dad, he's kind of like a rough and tumble, you know, unpredictable kind of guy. So I feel like I got, you know, some attitude from him, and then, you know, just, I guess, sense of humor too. And I don't know, he's the type of dad who's willing to get naked on stage with you, or, you know, get up on stage and make out with his sons for the shock factor of it, you know?
Did that happen too?
Yeah.
Man, good
and
for you.
there was
awesome.
there was some band that hated us, okay? Some rival band called let's say like Zeno or something. There's some stupid name you'd never heard of them. They'd get up on stage and wear dresses and like spit up fake blood. Okay, and they'd have like a TV flashing a bunch of times.
Oh, okay, got it.
You know, great band.
Got it.
You know, you should look them up if you get the time. Great listen. Xenu Zano. And yeah, they opened for a show that we played, and they were saying stuff like, we're the only band that's worth seeing here, like, you know, when they're advertising. It was obnoxious. They didn't sell any tickets, and we convinced the venue to still let them play. And they're saying shit like that. But that was the show where, yeah, we had, there was a bunch of blood and, like, cuts and, you know, bruises and, like, all kinds of crazy stuff going on and jumping off of everything. And at one point, my dad came up to guest sing. That was after he was out of the band. But you know what? Hey, Doug Gleason's back.
Cameo, yeah.
You know, and he was up there singing, and we had kind of discussed it. Okay, at the end of this song, you know, maybe we should kiss. You know, okay, hey, Dad, nice to see you. You know, just a kiss. But then, okay, he went up and he made out with my brother with a bunch of tongue, and he came up to me, a bunch of tongue all over me. And whatever, my mom was at that show too, one of the rare times she saw us, and she's like, oh my God, that is so disgusting. She's filming it, and you could hear like, what the fuck, Doug? You know? And,
oh my God.
I mean, they've been divorced for forever, so I'm sure she's like, what the fuck am I watching?
Jesus.
But, yeah, I mean, the whole, like, originating idea behind the band was this thing, like, where my dad would, like, kidnap kids because he originated in every big band, but he left before they took off. You know, like, he was in Kiss, he was in Led Zeppelin, he was in everything. But, you know, it stopped working for him, so he kidnapped kids and, like, taught them from a very young age, Jackson 5 style, to play this band stuff. So anyways, down the road, you know, he ends up making out with us on stage, and this band, Xanu, they're all pissed off afterwards, and they posted some big thing saying, like, you know, like, they're up there trying too hard. They're bleeding, and it's probably fake blood, even though they did spit up fake blood. And it was very much so real blood. And they're like, and they hired some old guy to pretend to be their dad to make out with. It's like, well, even if we did that, that's pretty fucking bizarre.
Oh my God.
You know, there's just some random old guy to make out with.
Oh shit.
I forget what the question was, but that's the answer.
That is so fucking funny, man.
Oh yeah, and that kind of helped develop what I was. And then other than that, you know, I mean, I was just kind of awkward growing up, and so was my brother. You know, we were awkward, but in a cool way, I guess. You know, like we would,
Your brother looks really cool.
Oh, he's very cool.
This is like cool. Like you seem like the kind of really interesting goof guy, and he seems like the cool skater guy.
Oh, he doesn't skate. I mean, yeah, I guess he does
He just
more than
looks
me.
like it. I don't know.
He's really cool. He's kind of an asshole at times, but he's a brilliant guy, but he doesn't know which direction to throw it in. He's starting to figure it out. Hopefully he has something cool come out from it. But I'm not going to say what he's doing just in case he changes his mind. You know? I don't want to jinx it.
That picture of you three together, and he took a picture, I think it was you and Bridget, and you like changed your body shape.
Oh, yeah. I took a picture of them, and I said, here, I'll Photoshop myself in. Because I did that a long time ago. We were at a museum, and it was like a samurai exhibit. And I had my sister visiting with a couple of her friends or something, maybe just one friend. And I said, okay, here, they were saying we could just get someone to take a picture of us. I said, no way, I'm really good at Photoshop. I'll take a picture of us. So I took a picture of them. I said, okay, now take a picture of me. They did. And then later that night, I was on, I want to say I was on a laptop for some reason. But I was editing this picture, and I ended up showing it to Bridget. I'm like, hey, put it together. What do you think? And she looked at it. She's like, why are you so tall? I was like 10 feet tall. And I'm like, well, I'm taller than you guys. And I made it seem like, because I spent like forever doing it. And I made her feel really bad for making me feel bad for it. She's like, I'm sorry. I don't want to hurt your feelings. But yeah, you're way too tall. Make yourself shorter. Like, oh, okay, fine. So then I spent, all it took was like kind of dragging down the corner. But I sat in there for like an hour. Redoing it. I was on YouTube or something with headphones, so I was pretending to do it, and I bring it back in, and I'm like shorter than all of them. It's like, and she didn't want to say I was too short, but then I started laughing because I couldn't keep it in, and that was where that originated. But then I did this one where I'm really short and have a giant head. Yeah. Everybody, because there's a lot of people who like. I'm getting a lot of followers faster now, so there's a lot of people who have never seen me. So if that's the first time they've seen me, they're like, I didn't expect that. Is that really you? And I was like, yeah.
Oh my god.
And then I posted a whole thing where I'm taller in it. I said, this is the real picture of me. I've gained a lot of height lately, and I'm really ashamed of it. I photoshopped myself. I've been, a little too stationary, so I've been growing super tall.
Oh my fucking god, that's so funny. Yeah, I remember like going through your feed and just seeing these ridiculous like your voice is different pitches and stuff. I didn't know what you and then eventually I heard what your actual voice was, and I couldn't tell if that was also pitched differently. Like I had no idea.
Oh yeah, well this is it.
Yeah,
you gotta put a filter on my end. Of
yeah, yeah, like the FBI filters. Like well, I wasn't there that night.
Oh yeah, it sells. It sells shirts.
Yeah, man. That did you guys like? Was that like the thing where you were like, fuck, like this is it, like shirts? Because that seems to be like the smart, like because you guys that seems to be like the mainstay at this point.
To a degree, I mean, my brother had told me for years to do shirts, but at that point in time, I didn't have anybody that was following me. I was still on just like Facebook, I didn't know what Instagram was, so I held off. And then I built up a following, and I was at maybe like 11,000 followers. I'm like, okay, it's shirt time. So there's this guy I know, Corey Buzzboom. I don't know. He's like a Phoenix guy. But basically, he's got a little bit of everything. He knows how to do every single thing a little bit, Yeah. And he's never had to work a real job in his life. Real interesting guy. If you ever want to interview an interesting guy, look up Corey Buzzboom. He doesn't do anything that you would hear of, but he's awesome. But basically, he's got this silk screen thing, like an 8-arm machine in his basement. No idea how the fuck he got it down there. But I printed off shirts, and I ended up doing a pre-sale, and it was the best shirt sale I've ever done. I was like, okay, yeah, this could totally do it. And I did the math. I sat there, like, if I do, 10 shirt releases in a year, I can end up, making $1 million by the time I'm this age. And shirt sales have slowed down a little bit since then, and that's not really the way it works because it costs to make them. And I don't think I'll ever make $1 million. But yeah, that was definitely a light bulb moment of like, wow. Because I used to say I'm never going to have prints. If you ever see one of mine, it's an original, like great idea,
Yeah.
Like spend hours on each thing I ever sell. So I ended up doing prints and shirts, and it's like, well, holy shit. Like all I have to do is click order, and then people buy them, and then I ship them out,
That's awesome, man. I like that who is it? Oh fuck, Spotta something, not Spotify. There's a thing now, and a few different people do it where they just like you put up all of the designs online, and then they just click it, and then they have everything there, and they just make them on demand.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and
I think it's called Spotify.
But yeah, like the turnaround time takes forever, but it's all on demand.
I don't know how I feel about that. Well, I'm not going to say that. I've been trying to be like less opinionated publicly, but I'm going to say it. I hate it because I feel like with those, I think they're like digital prints. I hate digital printing.
Got it.
It's got to be screen printed. Like, you know, if you want 10 colors on there, pay for the 10 screens. It's going to look awesome. You know, with the digital printing, there's going to be a little bit of pixels. Things aren't going to look quite right. And it's like, kind of like, you know, has that sound, you know? And I just don't like them. So I wouldn't do that, even though, yes, it prevents anything coming out of your pocket. Like, you have to spend, like, okay, let's say you sell the shirt for $20. You got to spend $12 to have it made. Yeah. So you get very little in your pocket. Whereas what I'm doing, I don't want to say what kind of profit margin I'm making, but I charge enough to make a living off of, you know? And, yeah, I don't know. I mean, even with that, on the topic of shirts, I hate when people charge like $30 for a T-shirt.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But everybody does it.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do like $18 or $20 for them because that's within the range where I can make money off of it, and people can feel like they're getting a deal because, in comparison to everybody else, they are.
I guess I'm in a different world. I mean, I'm still very, very, very much within the band world, where all the local bands have shirts and they're selling them for anywhere from 10 to 15. I never see them for 20, but that's because no one's gonna buy it.
They're printing them in Corey Buzzboom's basement, so it costs $1 each.
I think my buddy actually. I'm gonna look it up, but I swear my buddy just commented on something like yesterday and told me to get him on the show.
Well, like, you definitely should.
I don't know if it was him or not, but if it was, now it has to happen.
You should. He does all kinds of cool stuff. He circuit bends. Okay, so he takes like children's toys and turns them into instruments. He'll take like a
That's like Marilyn Manson shit.
Is that what Marilyn Manson does?
Well, that's what
circuit bends?
Back when it was Marilyn Manson and the Spooky Kids. This is my real fucking angsty teenage self coming out. He said in his autobiography, their keyboardists back in the day would just take children's toys and fuck with them on stage and make them into like different things.
Well, he'll literally go in them and he'll turn like a tennis racket with a calculator and a strobe light into a theremin.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it'll have like Donald Duck's head up top. And he did an art show with it, and Mark Mothersbaugh from Devo, he caught wind of it because he had I forget what he did. Okay, he would do crash test like derby stuff, and there would be like a competition to see who could win. And he had Devo 2.0 as the car or something like that. Had an energy dome on top, and Mark Mothersbaugh donated energy domes and radiation suits for the crew. So he had known about him, and he ended up seeing this, and he bought out all the instruments, let them be on display, but he said, I'm going to use that on my next album. And then Devo put out their shittiest album ever, Something for Everybody, or whatever that one's called.
I kind of like that album.
Oh, well, I'm out of here.
No, there's a couple songs in there that I like. I'm a real big Devo fan. Like, I really am I have all the Devo records. I listen to them a lot. I really like the only Devo albums that I'm not super into were like the weird late era ones where they were still signed to that record label. They were like everything was getting kind of
like
weird.
Their disco album?
Like what was the fucking album with all the circles on the cover towards the end of their career? Fuck, what was that? It was like late 80s, 90s. Like they started putting out some weird shit. I'll have to look it up. But
I don't know.
Oh, the Shout, that was
okay, yeah, Shout's not very good.
Yeah, like that era I wasn't super into, but there are some. I'm going to go on record as saying, in my opinion, Something for Everybody has some really lame shit on it. Like
yes.
Cameo.
Like What We Do Is What We Do.
What We Do is fucking awful.
You know, it's sexting, texting, perplexing. Yeah. What We Do Is What We Do.
Yeah.
Man, I love that album now that I'm singing it out loud.
Yeah, but there were a couple songs that I thought were kind of fun, especially the ballad at the end. But one about the world. One like the global warming song.
Yeah. Global warming is what we do. Well, I thought it was interesting because they did do something where, they were going to have, they did it. They had samples of each song, and they had like 30 songs, let's say, and we're going to put 20 of them on this album. You guys get to vote on the samples that you like, and whatever one you choose, you end up being on it. And I thought that was cool, and then I was like listening to each snippet. I was like, this one's not good. This one's worse. This one's even worse. I heard this one in a commercial.
I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah. So that was
Smooth
cool.
Noodle Maps. That's the one. Smooth Noodle Maps is a little rough. Shout's a little rough. Total Devo. That's the one I was thinking of.
Right.
But like, I fucking love. I'm looking at their albums now. A lot of people go freedom of choice, which is completely understandable. That's a good, strong, safe choice. Personally, I go, oh no, it's Devo.
That's a good one too.
New Traditionalist is great too.
I personally go for it's a live album, and I couldn't tell the year. It's The Beginning Was the End.
Okay,
I think that's the name of it. I don't know.
I used to have Devo Live 1980 on. I found like a really cool vinyl.
It's like a red cover with like a black and white detail of a face from the cover
Got
of a
it.
book.
Now
Yeah.
it can be told.
Now it can be told. That's the one.
Live at the Palace. Yeah, for sure.
I love that one because there's some acoustic stuff and it's great.
Oh, dude, they were so good.
It's got some real like Fred Armisen undertones to it, you know.
I love like okay, so here's what's crazy. My favorite video game as a kid was Crash Bandicoot.
Oh yeah,
like,
that's a great one.
Like without
I mean, that's a great one.
Yeah, thanks. Without question, like that was my favorite thing in the world. Like I got it tattooed on me. Like it was just like I loved it so much.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, look at that. And now when I started reaching my late teens, like post high school, I started getting into Devo really hard, and I like something about it just seemed familiar, and I didn't quite know what it was, but but Devo always felt like home to me in a weird way, and I could never understand it. My parents weren't listening to Devo or anything like that, but for some reason it just clicked. And then one day I realized that Mark Mothersbaugh did the music for Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, I didn't know that. I knew about the Sims.
Yeah, he do Sims.
Oh, he did the Sims, man, and you could buy the whole album, and it's like 18 hours long of like shopping music.
Yeah, Mark Mothersbaugh created a music group or company called Mucha Musica or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and they did the Crash games as well as
Isn't
a
it
bunch
like
of other stuff.
Musica Mutata? Or
Yes,
something like that?
yeah, Musica, yeah,
Something like that.
Yeah, they did Crash, and then like it's so funny too to be watching mainstream movies. Like I remember I was hanging out at my parents' house way back when that 21 Jump Street the remake came out, and the credits rolled, and it was like score by Mark Mothersbaugh.
Yeah, it's
I
weird,
was
huh?
like, dude, this guy is just like
He gets around.
like cashing in mad checks.
Yeah. Well, okay, he put out a record that didn't have any sort of samples online, but it was like, okay, here's a Mark Mothersbaugh solo thing, and it's a picture of him in like, I don't know, junior high. Okay, his junior high school photo. And he did the thing where he like mirrored the image, so it's like a mutant looking picture.
Got it.
And I bought it, and I was like, this is going to be so awesome. And I did the pre-order, and I waited for it, and it showed up, and it's only one side, okay? The other side has like an engraved, etched image of that same image. Okay, cool. I put it on the record, and it is the worst thing I have ever heard in my entire life. It was like a $30 record. I mean, it is just literally the worst thing I've ever heard. It's like, I thought it would be like, like some keyboard stuff or something. Yeah. But it's one song. It's, 15 minutes long, and it's like African tribal music with an occasional like, boom. And it's mind-numbing. And it's like, oh, awesome. And then they came out with this Devo book, okay? It's like a thing that has like unreleased press photos from throughout their entire career.
Was that like during like the hardcore Devo phase? Like they came out
recently? It was more recent than that.
Okay.
But yeah, they came out with this book, and there's two versions you could get, okay? There's one where it's like 2 books, and then there's one where it's 1 book. It's a special edition book, and when you flip it over... No, wait, it's the other way around.
Okay.
The expensive one is 2 books. The cheap one is one where you can like flip it over and then you look at the other side and it's the same pictures, but whatever. If you did the expensive one, which was like $300, you could have like it signed by all the members, the living members, Fred Armisen, Mark Mothersbaugh.
You keep saying Fred Armisen every single time. Like, what the fuck?
That's Devo, man. That's all Devo is now.
Casali's still in it.
Sure. But yeah, they ended up putting out this book, and I got the expensive one, and my name is going to be in it as like a special thank you. Oh, awesome. And it came with a special edition, never before seen like image that they were going to use for their stuff that, it was from like their heyday. And it's going to be this really cool big poster you can hang up, and it's screen printed and everything. They released the screen print, and it is like clip art with Japanese written at the bottom, and it says like, aren't you glad that we're here or something like that? It's like, that is the ugliest thing. And everything they're doing now just feels kind of like a cash grab, and I feel stupid because I got the $300 book that took 8 months to show up at Bridget's dad's house, and it's still sitting down there. I don't want to open up that poster. There's no resale value on that.
That's rough, dude. I remember when I heard about the passing of his name's escaping me.
Bob, too?
Bob, yeah. When I heard about that, that sucked, man. I worked as a nursing assistant for a while, for about a year. I was working in a nursing facility, and I remember hearing about that and just being like, I remember I was like on the floor, like on my Facebook, being very irresponsible. And
I thought you were gonna say you're on the floor crying.
Yeah, yeah.
Devo's not that good.
And I remember reading that and being like, shit, that's super fucking crazy. But you know what though? No one loves Devo more than Gerald. What's the other Casali brother? Jerry.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one loves that band more than him. Like,
Yeah.
I saw he did a little interview at Amoeba Records. He did like the little "What's in My Bag" segment for their YouTube channel, and he has like straight up Devo shoes on. Like he has like you can't tell they're Devo shoes. And he kicks them off, and like underneath it, it's all Devo shit. And he bought one of his own records.
He bought one of his
own records, but I could tell that he was doing it to promote it, or that's the whole point, right? But and I actually got really into it. It was the easy listening one.
Okay, yeah, I bought that one. That
I
one's
love
good.
that. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's like an interesting.
That had come out years and years and years ago in a tape form. And it's extremely expensive on eBay to find. Because I saw it and I was like, well, I wonder what it sounds like. And they came out with it in the record form, and I bought that. And I was a little bit hesitant because that was after that really great Mark Mothersbaugh solo thing. But it worked out.
Timeless.
Yeah.
That timeless Mark Mothersbaugh record. I gotta find that on like YouTube or something.
Oh, it's not even there. It's all secret. Like, who the fuck would post that online?
I can
You
find
gotta
some
check
kind
this
of
out.
like virus-filled link.
You got to
with
play
that
a
on there.
snippet of it at the end of this.
I will. I'll
you
do
know,
it.
stay
I do it.
tuned at the end for the Wild Wild West music video
Good
sort of style. You know.
Good point. I will totally throw that in here at the end. Yeah, man. I
In fact, just play it over this section right here.
dude, I love that band. So, and it's one of those things too, where like my parents are like super straight middle class, like lower middle class kind of normal white people.
Sure.
Like, you know, they were into pop music and hair metal and all the same
Sure.
shit that anybody else was growing up in the 80s. So, like when I told my parents, like in all seriousness. Well, it wasn't like a coming out moment. I just like it was a casual conversation.
Mom, Dad, I like Devo.
Yeah, I was like, I remember it coming up once. At like we were out to eat or something that I love Devo, and they were like they looked at me like I was doing card tricks.
Did
for
they
a
tell
dog.
you that they still love you though?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I mean, but
We'll
like
always love you no
it was
matter
just
what
like
band you
it's
like.
like the Whip It guys.
Yeah.
Like what? I don't get it.
The thing
Like
is, Devo is so much more than Whip It.
so much more.
Whip It's not that good. It just so happens to be the song that got out there.
Yeah, it's rough, man. I mean, it's a great single, but okay though. Let's be real for a second. What do you hate more? Something for Everybody or the Kids Bop Devo album?
Something for everybody, because Kids Bop 2.0 goes along. I mean, I wouldn't listen to it, but Kids Bop 2.0, there was commercials for it, and it was hilarious. And the fact that they're actually behind it is great. And their original thing was like trying to find every possible way of marketing Devo.
Yeah.
So that very much so goes in line with that. Now, I don't think it was a hit, you know, but somebody had to have bought it for their kid.
Yeah.
You know.
That there were a couple songs on there where I was like, wow, the production is super good on this.
Yeah.
Like it sounded really updated. Because like to me that I remember listening to that album when I got into them, and I just thought to myself, I didn't listen to the whole thing. I like cherry picked singles, but I was like going through it, and I was like, these songs, like if you would have thrown their vocals over this would have been a really interesting and passable kind of like look back, because it was like the same songs, but
didn't they
with
even
the
do
new
like
sound?
Didn't they do like music videos that were trying to replicate it? Like they did the Whip It music video, something like that.
Oh yeah,
But
Devo 2.0.
I can get behind that more because it wasn't technically them doing it. The Something for Everybody is weird because it was like, we haven't released an album in 25 years. And it kind of seemed, and I'll get into a different band that did this in a second, but
Please.
It seemed like, okay, they're going to do it right because they waited so long. Devo's awesome. They're going to come out with something great. And then it sounded nothing like them. Like there's auto-tune in it and shit.
Yeah.
That's so not Devo,
was
you know?
weird.
They used to be like, had they come back making stuff that sounded like their old stuff, it would still be ahead of its time because nobody else is doing that. But instead, they were trying to catch up. And that's what I don't like about it.
Yeah,
and then they
makes
put out
sense.
like a second version of it. Here's the songs you didn't vote for,
I remember
something
hearing-
else for everybody.
I remember what that was. I didn't know what the fuck was going on with
Yeah.
that. Yeah, dude. But they're
Well, hold on, the other band.
yeah. Hold on, real fast, because
okay.
this is gonna
Sure,
close out.
sure,
This is
sure.
gonna
No
close
more
up the
Devo after
Devo
this.
chapter. Freedom of Choice.
Yes.
The Freedom of Choice version on Devo 2.0 sounds really fucking good.
Okay, well,
Like-
I'll listen to it.
Just like pretend that it's Mark and Gerald
Sure.
and not like the little kids.
Sure.
From what I remember from like 7 years ago, production on that was ace. Okay, what was the
I'm
other
sure.
band that did that?
The Pixies.
Ooh.
Okay. Kim Deal left the band again because she was like, you know what? These songs suck. That's what I got to imagine happened. This does not sound like the Pixies. I'm out of here. And so then they replaced her with like the bass player from Courtney Love. Not Hole, but Courtney Love. Okay, so she's in it now, and I want to say she was also in like a Perfect Circle at some point. I don't know.
Just
But,
like from great band to great
yeah,
band.
they came out with a new album and they started touring nonstop. And
Pixies?
yeah, they started.
When did they come out?
I mean, they played down the street in Phoenix, right down the street from my house. Well, the one that got
everything
torn
was down the street from your old house.
Sure. Until it got torn down. Basically, yeah, they came out with a new album, and it's horse shit. They got a song called Bag Boy, okay? And, okay, any of the Pixies
Sounds
songs,
like
it doesn't matter what it's called. It's going to be great, but it's like, Bag Boy, Bag Boy, Bag Boy. And it's like, there used to be a man who lived in something, and just like trying to rehash what it was. Bag Boy. And
that sounds like a Devo song.
yeah, well, and then there's one of the new ones, something else for everyone. But basically, yeah, and then they got a song, I can't remember what it's called, and you'll have to listen to the entirety of their new album. But there's one that is just, I swear it's the same music from Where Is My Mind? And it's like, it's the chick singing it, and I feel like it's a stab at Kim Deal, and the whole thing just feels like, again, like a cash grab of like, remember us? It's me, Frank Black. Come and see me stand still and not sing loud,
Stay tuned for. I'm also going to play Bag Boy because I found it. I'm totally going to play Bag Boy at the end of this. I just like Bag Boy.
Have Bag Boy over the intro and then the other solo thing at the end.
People, yeah, that's what I'm going to do, and no one's going to know until
They hit this point.
Because it's always the same theme song, so everyone's just going to be like, "What the fuck? Why is this
We're going in a new direction." Scored by Mark Mothersbaugh.
Oh man, that's if I paid him enough, I'm sure he'd do it. Apparently, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's whatever. I love your love for for shock value though. You and Bridget both.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, from her and her, like, someone challenged her on Instagram over whether or not she actually liked Gigi Allen, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah,
like,
that's a weird thing to be accused of.
It was a weird thing.
She wore a Ramones shirt before, and somebody's like, "I bet you can't even name a song of theirs." It's like, well, even if she couldn't, she could Google it pretty quick, dude. Like, this is a losing argument on your side, But yeah, she wore a Gigi Allen shirt, and I feel like it's just some guy who hates Gigi Allen.
Probably.
Like, didn't you see him on Geraldo Rivera? He was an asshole. Like, like he thinks he's the prophet. It's like, fuck, man. Like, Gigi Allen is awesome because of the fact that there was no rules.
Yeah.
He threw them all out the window. He was rebellious. He is punk rock through and through. And there are going to be people who say, but I mean, he would rape women and men on stage. It's like, well, no, he wouldn't. He would put his little wiener on them, and he would just be inoffensive.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he lived it. He was extreme, but okay, like with the McDaniels, it was like each show that we played, we had to one-up ourselves, which is where the last, real lineup of a show, my brother jumped off a roof naked and broke his heels. And it's like, okay, well, that was that show. How do you one-up that? Like, blow up the stage? I don't know. We didn't ever have to because that was pretty much where the real deal McDaniels ended.
Oh my God! I found a McDaniels video
don't play it
on your YouTube channel.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff on there, and then I didn't get into it, but the Ovals is another band we did after the McDaniels because we couldn't top how, I mean, in our eyes, the coolest thing we've ever done was the McDaniels at that point in time. So we went the other route. We formed a band where we pretended to be 15 years old, okay? And we had alter egos. I was Brendan Glenn. My brother was young Brian. And we were just like, basically, okay, the kid in class that you're afraid might, or not even might, the kid in class who in 7th grade stabbed the teacher with safety scissors, but he still goes to your school.
Sorry.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
Yeah, don't watch that yet.
I'm queuing it up for later.
But, yeah, like, that's one of the kids in it. It's the kid who buys cigarettes because he's out of high school, but he's buying cigarettes for these kids so they think he's cool. And basically, we had played so many shows and gone to so many shows, all the opening bands did something awkward, and we took notes from it. Mental notes of like, man, if we weren't awkward, if we weren't nervous before, we are now. Bear with us. This is our first show. The Ovals suck. Like everything that was like awkward about a show that we had seen, we put into this band, and it was the greatest thing ever because people in the audience didn't know it. So they would show up to a show and think they're going to see these cool bands, and then all of a sudden there's the Ovals. Okay, and we're up there, and like there would be a show where I got my hand in my pocket, and I'm doing a move where I keep on pulling it out, and then I end up throwing quarters, and I stop the whole show until I get my quarters back. Just like total like buzzkill every time we got the chance. Like awkward songs about like therapy. Like, yeah, my therapist said that I need to be writing poetry, and you know what? My songs are poetry. And we would write songs just about I poisoned my dad on Catalina Island was one of them. There's all kinds of great songs. It's like very dark and demented. Like I Am a Bug is one about how I have a crush on my teacher. And there's just all kinds of great stuff within every show is really awkward. We didn't end up getting into it, but we're going to do a show where I took Epicac before the show, and we titled it Behind the Scenes.
What's that?
Epicac makes you throw up, like projectile vomiting. So there was going to be the Brendan is Sick show. That's what we were going to call it, behind the scenes, and we would film these things. And the people we would have in the audience to be in the merch booth or filming stuff would also be ovals. That's what we coined these people.
Got it.
Like the kid who shows up to school with his shoes on the wrong feet, all day. And that's what he's known for now. It's the kid who ran in track and broke his leg. It's the awkward people who just they can't, basically the fedora wearers, but we coined it as the ovals. And, we were going to do the Brendan is Sick show, so the whole time I'm just looking like shit. I'm feeling sick the whole time, and I was going to puke in my sleeve or down my hoodie, and just play the rest of the show sick. We did an acoustic show where instead of it being acoustic, it was an electric guitar that was just unplugged. And then I'm singing all loud, all kinds of terrible stuff, man.
Did you do the sick? Did you get sick?
We didn't get to do the Brendan is Sick show.
What happened?
Basically, the members shifted a lot, and we never had the same drummer twice, and it just never happened. Now, there's talks between me and Steven about doing an Ovals mockumentary. Hopefully it happens eventually, but because we got a lot of great old footage. Just everything that we did was so bad and lame, but we got a bunch of ideas that we never got to do, and we think we'll do kind of a comeback thing of the Ovals of now we're grown up and we're awesome, but it's going to be the same awkward stuff, we wanted to do a tour where we grew our nails out and had a bunch of dirt under them. I was going to get fake braces, get my teeth cast to get movie quality braces and dye my hair light brown and just fully give into these characters. And, each time we got to the point where something was going to work out, other stuff fell apart and it just kind of didn't happen,
Oh my God. So you have so many Ovals videos on your fucking YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit.
And that's not even the entirety of what we got.
What is the quarters thing in here?
That would be in our first show at the Real Coachella.
Is that on here?
That's on there somewhere, but you got to sit through an hour of it.
Oh, I'm just gonna.
I'm gonna
fall down a rabbit hole so deep.
We did one show where every time somebody would walk into the building, we would say, "Okay, hold on, we're gonna start the set over because they missed these songs," and because we've seen somebody do that, and one of my friends at some point did a garage show for Halloween, and they had a pizza delivered in the middle of it. And it was for the band to eat pizza, and they stopped the set and then picked up after they ate their pizza. So we did it where we had pizza delivered, and we ate the pizza, and we didn't let anybody have it. If they wanted a piece, they had to pay us at a ridiculous price. It's $5 per slice. And then we started the set over again. It was an hour and a half, and I have it on VHS, and it's great.
Where do you guys? You just had an old camcorder?
I used to film YouTube videos on VHS. Because nobody else was doing
it at the time. Thing?
Sure, and it was funny, and I could film fake commercials or things that looked like they were from the 90s. And I had this thing called the Bad Boy. Okay, that was my big claim to fame because I ended up doing a video with somebody from this group called Mega 64. They do video game parody videos. They're huge. Okay. But he saw my video and wanted me to go down to San Diego and film in their studio so we could do a continuation of the Bad Boy with him in it. I said, no, better yet, you come down to my house and we'll film it in my bedroom, this big deal kind of guy. And because I did that, we did a 3-parter, and that took off with the VHS camera. But anyways, with the Ovals, the VHS camera made an appearance in it because we had Brendan Cam. And there's a specific song called the Freak Out song, okay? And it's a song where you get your aggression out.
Yeah.
The Freak Out song you got to check out. So basically, that's the song where you get to, I've gotten my aggression out on stage. I get to say, all kinds of stuff that's been on my shoulders. Now it's the audience's turn. So we got Brendan Cam, and we're going to play the Freak Out song. And when the Brendan Cam lands on you, and there's this big bright light, when the Brendan Cam lands on you, you just let it all out. You let your aggression out. You say, fuck you, Dad. You if you hate your teacher, say you hate school. If you hate your brother, you tell him what. And so we point the camera at this. It's just this giant camera in their face, and these people don't know what to do, and there's video of it. And the song is the worst. It's not like it's an aggressive song. It's freak out song. This is the freak out song. 0 moments for aggression, and the music cuts out when they're supposed to scream. So it's just dead silence. Fuck you, Dad. Oh, it's awesome.
What is can you explain the Bugle Boys to me?
The Bugle Boys was basically, I had a couple of friends come over, and I wanted to do a continuation of the Bad Boy, and that was going to be an opposing gang.
Okay.
It didn't work out. It didn't happen. It was a teaser trailer that nobody cared about.
Got it.
And
Okay.
Yeah, there's
it
nothing
works.
there.
You can't win everything.
I bought $150 worth of Bugle Boy merchandise, including a wallet, so it could be in these videos, and it just didn't happen.
I found your which Bad Boy video is the OG? Is it Training Part 1 of 3?
Training Part 1 of 3 is the continuation, Becoming a Bad Boy, but I'll have you know, YouTube fucked me over, man. They put a clicking over every one of those videos.
Why?
So it's just,
Why? What happened?
I don't know.
You should have fucking emailed somebody.
I don't have the original edited video either. It's just, it's gone. It's done.
Oh, what? That's so strange.
Yeah. They caught on. They knew what I was doing. We got to get this guy less views, less subscribers.
Oh, so did you? So wow, that sucks,
Yeah.
man.
It does.
I am telling everybody, just go through these. I don't even understand. Like I'm just like flipping through your videos, and I didn't even know these existed. I'm happy that I found out about this on the podcast because now I get to experience this.
There's
in front
300
of you.
plus videos, and each
Dude.
one, there's some good ones, some really bad ones.
There's some on here. So like the one that says my brother is gay. All I have is the thumbnail, but your brother looks exactly the same 4 years ago.
Oh, he looks exactly the same.
Like
10
I swear
years
that's
ago.
the same outfit that I see
yeah.
him in all the time.
Oh, he's got the exact same clothes. It's weird, man.
Beat off.
He's been working out though, so he's getting buff. He's getting ripped.
70 of you are fucked. I don't know what the fuck.
What was that one?
7 of you are fucked is all it says, and it's you in sunglasses.
I'm sure that's me threatening people who hit
It's
like
a
thumbs down.
39-second video. Hold on, no, I'm gonna find out what it is. I'm just gonna play it right now.
Oh God. I don't even know what that one is. I'm sure it's me threatening people. I don't know.
It's like a shitty webcam.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I would sit there. I mean, when I didn't have like a full blown idea, I'd just sit there with a webcam and say something stupid. And then, like, you know, because I said something in that one, I'd have to keep that story alive. Like, there's one where I didn't know what to do, and there was a point where there was like a phone number for the Obama administration, so I saved it in my phone as Barack Obama. And then I posted a video acting like people have been like saying I don't know Barack Obama, even though that wasn't the conversation that existed. Like, do you believe me now? You know, I'm holding it up to like with a picture of Barack Obama in it, and it's like, just get off my ass. I know who he is.
Okay. The last one that I'm going to mention, just because the thumbnail is... Actually, there's 2 thumbnails that are grabbing me, but one
shit.
actually needs to be talked about. The one that grabbed me that I just kind of thought was funny was... Oh, fuck, now it's gone. Oh, well. Dude, they all catch your eye. Oh, 2,500 subscribers, Blood Drink. 20-second video. I don't know what's going on there.
Well, there's... I hit a certain point where I had a certain amount of subscribers, so I forget what I did with that one, but then I made a promise. Okay, yeah, I did a shit eat. Okay, so I ate a piece of shit because I hit like, you know, I don't know, 1,000 subscribers. I said if I get to 2,000 subscribers, I'm going to drink a gallon of TK's jizz. That was this roommate we had who claimed when he comes a gallon.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, I believe you, but what the fuck? Yeah, sure, you jizz a gallon. So I hit 2,000 subscribers, and we weren't really friends anymore at that point, but he lived down the street, so I knocked on the door, and I said, TK, we need you to be in a video. So we filmed this whole video where I go over to his house, and he jizzes, and I catch it all in Tupperwares, and I drink a gallon of jizz. And, yeah, you know, so the blood drink was if I get to 2,500 subscribers, I'll drink a gallon of blood. Or I'll drink all of my blood or something like that. I never hit 2,500, so I didn't have to.
You
do
drank
that.
your friend's cum?
Oh, a gallon of it.
Good for you,
I put it
man.
in like the fridge to keep some of it safe. Yeah, there's a video of it, man.
It's on. Fuck, Jesus Christ! Good. I'm so happy that you exist. Now, the one that we actually do need to talk about though, is Ray William Johnson threatened me. Because I used to watch Equals 3 because I was brain dead. That was one of those things where, dude, when I was like a kid and I saw those videos, I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was great. And then I remember revisiting the ones that I swore were funny, like just 2 years later.
And
I wanted to fucking kill myself.
Like Gremlins too, man. You're gonna go back and you're gonna hate it.
I'm gonna let that stay sacred. But no, dude, Ray William Johnson. I remember watching him again and being like, "Oh God, this is bad."
He's pretty repulsive.
What happened? So what was that? What happened?
I don't know. The same thing of just.
Did he actually threaten you?
No, me and Bridget moved into her dad's like casita side house thing. And he's not rich or nothing, but he bought a house in foreclosure and it had a side house, and we were in the process of moving because we got kicked out of a place or something because there's a short sale or something stupid. We've only lived at a place for a year at a time. It's a nightmare because we collect and it's terrible to move. But we're in this place and I didn't have any videos to post, so I was like, I just posted, I don't know, it's a thing where I'm saying Ray William Johnson threatened me, and there's a thing of me driving down the street yelling at a car next to me, get the fuck away from me, leave me alone. It was just to, have a fake facade of, this superstar YouTube guy is after me.
He's gone now.
Yeah, he left.
What happened? I don't know what happened.
I think he was in the Grumpy Cat movie or something and then cashed out. I don't know.
What an epoch of career. Oh, God.
I think he was in Fred 3 recently. I don't know.
Well, holy shit. 11 months ago, there's a video, What Happened to Ray William Johnson.
Oh, God.
I'm adding that to my watch later. Yeah, man, your life is so interesting. You've had so many crazy things happen to you. This is so nuts.
For me, it feels like I'm just inside all the time, sweating a little bit and waiting for the next thing to happen. I don't know.
What kind of music do you guys have going on at your house all the time? Because I hear music kind of roughly through videos when you go, especially when Bridget puts on her stories of her making stuff, but I can never really make out what kind of stuff you guys are listening to.
Most of the time we got a shitty TV show playing in the background of Netflix. I'll be watching a knockoff of Cops or something, and then it's I should film a video, and then I'll put on for 30 seconds a song, and I'll shut it off. I don't want to listen to that. It's all a facade. It's movie magic, man. We don't listen to music. We got 2 record players just covered in 6 inches of dust.
Really?
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. Well, we got an Alexa unit, and we'll say, Alexa, play Spotify,
Alexa. Yeah, that's crazy. That's all I do is listen to music, man.
I'm sick of it. I listen to 10 bands, and I've heard all their songs.
What's that? The sick and depraved life. Or sick and disgusting life, whatever. That John
you were
Waters
just
movie.
singing praises of my life, man.
I know. Now
it's
I'm
a musicless existence, and I hate it.
Yeah, now I completely am against it. No, I've just been exhausting myself listening to as much music as possible, but I never get sick of it, really. I guess if I get sick of music, I'll listen to some podcasts for a day, and then I'm right back onto it.
Right.
I don't ever get tired. What 10 bands have you completely exhausted? You don't have to name all 10 because that would be kind of ridiculous.
Devo, the Ramones, the OCs.
Oh, really? The OCs? Okay.
Yeah, and
kind of newer.
Yeah, they're newer, but they just came out with they replaced some of their members, and now their songs aren't as cool.
Got it.
I shouldn't say that. I know somebody who's dating one of the members.
Oh,
their songs
shit.
are really great. But I don't know. I mean, I've listened to all their stuff I like, and yeah, I got 5 CDs in my car. I listened to 2 of them. The Cramps, I mean, it's just,
of course,
they're not putting out anything new, or if they are, it's not as good as the old stuff. And I memorized it. I don't know any of the words, but I memorized it, and I don't want to hear it anymore.
Dude, the first Cramp song I ever heard was Human Fly. And it was, my mom was listening to some 80s throwback station. It wasn't anything cool. My mom was listening to XM radio. It wasn't even XM radio. It was that satellite, when you have DirecTV.
Sure.
There's all these stations. And she just had an 80s throwback on, and there was nothing. It was all just the normal kind of shit you expect, Loverboy and whatever. And then this song starts up with this really cool delay heavy surf guitar, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And it's playing, and it's just Lux is doing those crazy mic eating vocals, and it's so weird, and the lyrics were so fucking crazy, and I was like, what the fuck is? And I looked it up because it was nothing like anything else. And I looked it up, and I discovered the band. I was probably 17. I found them really late, and I discovered them, and I was like, this is so fucking nuts. This is so cool. The Cramps were so great.
I mean, they're hands down one of the coolest bands to have ever existed. And even though they went down, they just went on forever, I feel like they never did anything to fully ruin what they had done.
True.
And there's a lot of bands where if somebody dies, they'll come back. The Germs. Okay, they got Shane West from A Walk to Remember. Yeah, he's a pretty boy actor. He played Darby Crash in their biopic. And
so they just adopted him as one of the bands?
Yeah, he's just there now. And me and my brother went to some show. There was a punk rock MySpace that was trying to come out. It was called punkrockers.com.
Okay.
I wasn't into it or nothing, but we had this guy who was recording our band. He was in a band that was playing it, so he got us free tickets. We went, and it was at the House of Blues on Disneyland, property. And Shane West came out trying to be all punk rock. So he's got a Mickey Mouse plastic mask with 2 swastikas. I swear they were drawn the wrong way on the ears. He's kind of hanging off the stuff, all buff, and he's like, "It's me, Darby Crash. Give me a beer." It's like, what the fuck is this? Everyone's like, man, I saw the Germs. And I was like, that's not the Germs. And they're like, well, 3 out of 4 isn't bad. It's like, that is very bad.
Oh, that's
like the Dead Kennedy's still happening. with Jello Biafra out of the picture.
Who's singing for Dead Kennedys now?
I don't know, some guy. But, you know, everybody still goes and sees, like, man, I love the Dead Kennedys. I saw them and they were awesome. But the thing is...
You just got someone on stage going, ah!
Yeah. SpongeBob up there. Yeah, basically, he ended up leaving the band because there was a like dispute between them where the other members of the band really want a Dead Kennedys song to be in a Levi's commercial.
I know
and
about
he said,
that.
no
Yes.
fucking way. And then
I
they
know
said,
about
okay,
that.
well, we're suing you for it. And now we're the band and we're going to keep on going. And people are like, man, Dead Kennedys rule. I can't believe this.
Yeah, I was aware of that. And I know that, like, see, I loved, dude, when I got into Jello hard. Like, I got specifically his spoken word. I got so wrapped up in all of, like, before I knew what podcasts were, I would find spoken word, and I was really into stand-up. I'm still really into stand-up. But spoken word was my introduction. Like, I'd be like, okay, Henry Rollins. Like, I got hard into Henry Rollins spoken word, like you fucking read about. And then Jello Biafra was a really easy transition. I got into his work, too, and all of his stuff about going to court for Frankenchrist and all this kind of shit. It's so interesting, man. And he's a wacky guy. Do you follow the Hard Times?
No.
The Instagram,
What
Facebook?
is that, like The Onion?
It's The Onion for punk rock.
Okay.
And
I've seen it pop up saying, like, you know, there's, like, employees of Ian MacKay's record label are nervous of what gift to give him for his birthday or something. I didn't think that one was funny enough to follow.
No, there's another Ian MacKay one where it says Ian MacKay decides what beanie to put on for a long day of documentary interviews.
Okay, that's good. That's good enough.
There's the one that got me to follow them. There's because I'm a big Henry Rollins geek. Was Henry Rollins GPS feature tells you how hard it would have been to get there in the 80s.
Okay, that's good too.
But
I'm still not gonna follow
but
it.
the Jello Biafra one was it was something to the effect of like, passenger stuck next to Jello Biafra on a plane has to listen to him fucking talk for like 5 hours. Fuck, I don't remember what it was, but that
sounds about
pull it
right.
up. It's a lucky airline passenger wins free 5 hours spoken word concert by Jello Biafra. Oh my god, yeah, they're really funny. But he's one of those guys though, where as I was listening to him, there was always a bit of grain of salt happening. Like every single time I listen, like Henry Rollins, I would pretty much just take his gospel. Carlin, gospel for the most part. But Jello was always one of those guys where I was like, I don't know about that. Like Alex Jones is an extreme example of that. Like really funny, charismatically interesting psycho to watch, but the whole time I'm just like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, take the bits and pieces.
Yeah, it's just
parts you like.
Take the parts you like, just like the Bible. Take the parts you like. Yeah, man. So, what do you have going on now? Do you have any kind of big? You guys just roll out shirts like crazy. Like every week there seems to be like a new shirt. What do you guys have coming up over the next? Like, see, this episode's gonna air in 3 weeks ish. So what do you guys kind of have going on around that time?
I don't know. Basically, I go with the flow with that stuff. Like when I get a big bill, you know, like if my car breaks down or if I lose a lot of money at the casino.
Are you a big casino guy?
I was until I lost a bunch. I was on a roll, man. I was going down to the casino every day and I was winning $500, $100, $150, $200. And Bridget was like, "I think you're starting to have a problem." And I said, "It's only a problem if I'm losing, bitch." And I went to the casino and then I lost like $80 and I come back. I took money out of the ATM. I won $100. No, that didn't really happen. But I won again. And then I was like, "Okay, here, look, we're gonna go down to the casino again." And it's a terrible location to be. I mean, it's
which did you get? Which one?
Oh man, the Wild Horse Pass Casino and Hotel.
Class.
Yeah, it's great, man. You walk in,
Right
you see the
off
big
the 10.
Pac-Man machine. My machine was 88 fortunes.
Okay.
I gravitate towards the Chinese ones because when I was a kid, baby, I wanted to be Chinese. That was what I wanted to be when I grew up. But besides the point, I started to have really good luck on that. I was with my friends from Australia, my brother and Bridget. We went down there. This guy, Tony Papish, he was there with $4, okay? You're not going to win off of $4. Steven was there with like $10. You're not going to win off of $10, although I think he got like $11 out of the deal. He won us like up $1.80 or something. Yeah. Bridget, I don't know if she won anything. Maybe she lost. But then I put in like $20 into one. I lost it all in front of everybody. But then I started to win when nobody was looking. And then I was down to $10 again. And I put that $10 ticket in a machine, and it went up to like $550. And then I spun a bunch more times, and I cashed out at 500. And I was like, "Holy shit, I'm hooked!" Because in the time prior to that, I went to the casino with my mom, and I won like $700. The time prior to that, I went with my dad to a casino, and I won like $300. I'm on fire with this stuff. When I get that pit in my stomach of like, I got to go to the casino right now. There's a jackpot waiting for me. So, anyways. I went with Bridget, and then I won, and she seemed kind of disappointed because now I'm going to go to the casino every day for the rest of my life. So then I put it all back in, and I lost it all. And then, like, the next day, I'm like, I got to go back to the casino. But it's not a problem, I swear. It's just because I want to have fun. I'm bored of everything else. I got an itch. But I went back down there, and then I lost.
I don't even like music anymore.
Yeah, but then I lost $100, and I gave her $50 to gamble with. I had $50 for myself, and we lost it all. She's like, "Well, I mean, you can go to the ATM and get more if you want." I was like, "I'll take $80 out more. I'm gonna win off of this." I lost all of that, and then I just felt sick. So then I put out a casino shirt, and I made a video saying, I'm in a lot of debt to the Native American casino, and the Native American mafia is after me, but they said if I can sell 200 of these slot machine shirts, they'll let me live, and they won't break my legs. I've seen the slot machine
shirt. I didn't know the story behind it. Okay.
That's the story behind it. Is I lost a little bit of money at the casino, and I was obsessed with it. But at that time, I hadn't lost the money. That money, every penny I was going to make off of that was going to go back to the casino. That was going to be my gambling money. But now I feel like that's kind of irresponsible.
What's the point?
But, well, if I win big,
yeah,
I could hit the jackpot, get $12,000. And then the Monster Hand shirt, the advertising campaign for that was that I found a monkey paw and I made a wish on it that all my teeth would fall out, because earlier that day,
I've seen this.
Man, earlier in that day, I went down to this burger joint that me and Bridget go to called Lucky Boy. And they have a coin machine there with like little prizes. I put a quarter in there, 50 cents actually. I had to borrow a quarter from Bridget. And I cranked it, and it came out in this little egg. I opened it up, and it was a tooth saver chest. I was like, okay, I have zero use for this. This is stupid, but I'll hold on to it. Later that night, I went home, and it was a movie night, so I was eating Milk Duds, popping Milk Duds down my throat, and I chewed on one instead of just swallowing it like I typically do, and it pulled a tooth out of my mouth. I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, oh my God, my tooth chest. And I ran in, I put my tooth in there. I got a missing tooth still.
Oh, what the fuck?
So,
From the Milk Duds?
Yeah, only it was a crown from a root canal.
Okay, I was going to say, I was like, when's the last time you went to a dentist?
Yeah, I go to the dentist all the time. I got no real teeth. But yeah, my crown came off, so I used that as an advertising campaign. And hopefully the money from that will pay to get the tooth put back in my head, So that's when new shirts come out for me, and basically it's rent's coming up, let's put something out there. I talked to different people about, like, I work with two guys in particular, I guess three, but one of them I only worked with once. There's David Ritchie, who runs the secret headquarters with his best friend Dave, and he also has the rubbish and stuff like that. He puts out skateboards and weird stuff. We've been talking about, he probably doesn't want me talking about it, but like cool stuff, okay, like stuffed animals. Okay. We're talking about doing that, maybe.
That'd be fucking awesome.
More skateboards and more air fresheners.
Yeah, the skateboard thing was really cool.
I know. But we're thinking about doing more of that, and there's other stuff in the works that I won't reveal because he'll hate me. He tells me that these things are like, I ask how secret is he? He says like a level 7. The stuffed animals I think were a level 9, so he's gonna chew me out for that. But when they come out, you guys better buy them. And then I work with this guy Justin Ishmael. He used to work for Mondo. I don't know if you've heard of them, but Mondo, they put out like movie posters and like records and stuff of like old movies. Real big thing, and he was like the art director for it. I can't
tell if I know what that is or if I just know a lot of brands that have Mondo in the name that do like cool vintage stuff. You know what I mean? Like Mondo's kind of like the throwback
but
thing.
Mondo, I believe, is the name of the company, but then they have like Mondo Tees, Mondo Records, Mondo this. I believe that's what it is. I don't know too much about it, but they do cool stuff. He ended up leaving that to do his own thing, and I'm doing toys with him. So we got a new toy coming out. He wants to do a whole line of toys with me, and there's some cool stuff, but the sculpting process is bizarre because I'll draw turnarounds, and they get to the sculptor, and it doesn't turn out right. Like, these look nothing like my stuff to where there has to be like a million revisions, and then it ends up coming out cool. And then there's this guy I did a Halloween mask with named Justin Mabry. And he works for this company. He's the vice president of this company called Trick or Treat Studios. They do like every big brand mask of like all the movie monsters and like, Jason and Freddy, and all kinds of cool stuff. And he wants to do another one with me, but, it's getting closer to Halloween and we didn't do it yet. So that probably won't happen. Those are the big things I got going. Other than that, I'm working on that book.
Tell me about the book.
I got every drawing I've done. Well, I started out with every drawing I've drawn from like 2014 to now. And it was like a 400-page book, and I ended up deleting a bunch. Now it's 228 pages, only the good stuff. But I don't know how to work Adobe InDesign where you make the book, so I'm sure it's gonna come out printed upside down and backwards. And I don't know how to.
Man.
I don't know what I should do for the cover, and I'm still waiting. I never got an email back from the company I was trying to make the books with, of a quote. I want to do like a hardcover cloth with like a foil stamp. I want like ink splatters on the sides of the pages, super thick, cream paper.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they're gonna get back to me saying the books are $300 each to make. So that's not doable. But that's the big thing I got. I'm going to end up doing a Kickstarter for that because at this point, they're too expensive for me to cover on my own. It's too big of a risk. I wanted to do toys on my own, like those art sculptures. Have you ever seen Sideshow Collectibles?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I wanted to do like their statue style things, but on my characters, I feel like you can get all the details and the detailed paint job in on it. But they were literally going to be $31 each, and I'd have to have 1,000 made. So it's like, I don't know if I have $31,000 to gamble with yet. But I need you to buy some casino shirts, and maybe I'll get to make those.
Are you aware of the artist Joe Whiteford or the band Harley Poe at all?
No.
Anyway, okay. I think this might speak to you.
Okay, I was looking at that earlier.
Check this guy out. I think this might pique your interest.
Oh wow, that is heavy.
Yeah, it's
that, concrete
resin cast.
Whoa,
that's
a lot of resin.
Yeah, it is. It's his name is Buttons, the Walking Cancerous Tumor.
Oh my.
And he was made by one of my favorite artists, named Joe Whiteford. He I just thought you might kind of be into that. So for the people who are listening, a lot of people have seen it in my studio. It's in my videos and a lot of pictures, and you can just set it down anywhere.
Oh no, broke it.
Buttons is in a bunch of stuff. He's the weird, creepy thing that's smiling at you in a lot of pictures and videos. Basically, what happened with this little guy is when my girlfriend and I first met, I was telling her, like, I got really into this band. It's kind of like, imagine Violent Femmes, but they only sing about murder and monsters.
Oh, okay.
Kind of that
Sure.
kind of deal. And so I showed her them, and I was like, "Hey man, like I was super bummed out because I sent her this thing that was like, yeah, Buttons, like that was my favorite thing that he ever did, and he's officially out of stock of them, and what a bummer." And I didn't think anything of it. And one day it showed up at my door.
Whoa!
And he had this like handwritten note with it, and he also sent us a DVD with the Roseanne Halloween specials on it.
Oh hell yeah!
And basically, what happened was he was technically out, but he had two like casts just like sitting around still that weren't painted, and he painted this real quick just because she like asked him about it.
Wow.
And so yeah, man,
well, there you go.
There you go. I don't know. I thought that this could be kind of up your alley.
Sure, yeah, it's the best cancerous tumor toy I've ever seen.
Are you a collectibles guy? Do you have like collectibles? And toys and
I
stuff?
collect mostly old stuff though. I don't support any living artists.
That should be your new Instagram bio. I don't support any living artists.
If there's ever anybody who makes something I want, I say, hey, I have 100,000 followers. Do you want to do a trade with me? And then they say yes, and they mail me the thing, and I never send them anything back. And that's how I do it, man. And then I block them, and I was like, sweet. I got my free thing.
That's awesome. Dude, thank you so much for coming over. Thank you for hanging out with me and talking shit with me for an hour and a half. I really appreciate your company. Thanks for coming over. When that book comes out, you and Bridget are welcome to come on the show together. I think it'll be really kind of fun. We've had you both on. No pressure if you've been grinding your teeth because you've not been enjoying it the entire time.
Oh no, I didn't grind nothing.
But yeah, I mean, if you and Bridget ever want to come on the show together, man, like I'm super down.
Man,
with
we'll just bicker the whole time. We'll correct each other's stories.
Hilarious.
Oh,
what I'll do, I'll make that episode and then I'll do a highlight reel of just you guys fighting. But yeah, dude, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for listening. Please go to his page. Follow Craig. Is it just Craig Gleason?
There's a dot in the middle.
Craig.Gleason.
Yeah, and it's not the word dot. It's a period.
Yes. So follow at Craig.Gleason for all of his Instagram stuff. It's really great, guys. Like I'm telling you, even if you're a weirdo and you're not into art, he's got some hilarious videos and stuff on there. And apparently the YouTube channel is going to be like, that's just my...
Maybe I'll hit that 2,500 follower count and drink my blood.
Dude, I think you've passed it.
No, I didn't.
Hold on, I'm gonna. You're close.
It's like 2437 or something. It's gonna sit there forever.
I was just there. Sorry, we have to figure this out before I go.
The great debate.
Because what are you gonna do if it is over 25?
I'm gonna kill myself.
Hold on. Because it was like, how many years ago did you
I'll
fucking
quit art
post
and go back to video.
Let's see. The big reveal. So, you, sir, are at 2689.
No fucking way. Oh my God. Somehow that feels better to me than the 100,000 followers I got on Instagram, because that was really hard to get to.
So you posted that 4 years ago, and I don't know.
Wow.
You're there, dude. You're overdue.
Holy shit.
So I would get with the blood drinking as soon as possible. Call up a butcher shop.
Oh my God.
You know you can do that. I was gonna make a movie. I was really into short films and making horror movies and stuff when I was younger. And then eventually I realized I can express myself without needing thousands of dollars to do it.
Sure.
Which is what this is. But we wanted to get real blood to make the movie because we were edgelord douchebags.
Sure.
So yeah, it should be really cool. Let's get like really cool fake, or let's get real blood to do it. And so we called up butcher shops, and butcher shops, like, that blood goes somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, they have it, but they wouldn't sell it to us.
Really?
Yeah, they said, like, dude, this is like, you don't want this. Like, we don't want to be responsible for any kind of bullshit. Like, we're not going to sell you this, but it's there. So if you know somebody in a butcher shop.
There's a great recipe that my dad taught me for fake blood, and it is corn syrup and red food coloring with a drop of blue food coloring.
Ooh, the blue
Me and
food
my
coloring.
brother, we used to play kill with our neighbors, and we would borrow shirts from my dad, and we would cover ourselves in blood if we died, and it was the stickiest, grossest thing. We only got to use it once because we left it outside, and all the ants got to it. But great recipe, and it tastes good, too.
There you have it. There you have it. Recipes. He hasn't actually completely stopped cooking. There is always a little bit going on in the background. Maybe not. That carrot recipe did look delicious though. So.
And I hate carrots too. I don't eat them.
All right, thank you guys so much for listening. Get stoked. What a funny little goofball. He is absolutely amazing. There's certain things on the show I need to stop saying, like on my intros and outros. I need to stop saying wonderful. I need to stop saying amazing, and I need to stop saying fantastic. These are three things that I need to really, I just need to pull back on, man. I really overuse the shit out of them. So, quick Patreon shout-outs to Austin Carson, Every Show Joe, Bradley Palermo, Aubrey Hoffer, my mom, my grandmother, Courtney Gallegos, Miguel Lopez, Tom Maxwell, and Bryce Koppel for donating the lights that we use in the studio. That's it, man. Thank you so much, and I have even more stuff to say after this. Aw, shit, look at that. The episode's over, man. We're done. Episode is finished. Luckily, though, there are plenty of other older episodes hanging around the internet anywhere you'd like to find podcasts. iTunes, podcast apps like Stitcher or Podcast Addict for either the iPhone or the Android. My official Podbean website. I'm fucking everywhere, man. I'm building an empire. Let's take over the fucking world. Anyway, if you've made it this far, I truly appreciate you and encourage you to please reach out and say hello. I'm serious about this, guys. I really want to connect with my listeners. So whether you want to come on the show or not, drop me a line. Hit me an email at gettingstokedpodcast@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I think that's it, man. Thank you guys so much for listening. It really, I know I harp on it so much, but it really truly means everything. So thank you. Get stoked.